For decades, Toyota built its reputation on a single promise: reliability. Millions of buyers didn't choose Toyota because the cars were flashy, or they chose them because they were dependable, durable machines, unlikely to leave owners stranded or buried under massive repair bills. That reputation wasn't an accident. It was earned over generations of engines that routinely crossed 200,000, even 300,000 miles with nothing more than basic maintenance. But in recent years, cracks have begun to appear. Now, with multiple recalls tied to newer Toyota engines, many owners are asking an uncomfortable question: how can a brand new engine still suffer from the same old failures? What began as isolated recalls has grown into what many owners now call a Toyota recall number one, where engines are replaced, parts are updated, and software is revised. Yet the underlying problems refuse to disappear. Mechanics, engineers, and longtime Toyota technicians are starting to speak up, and their insights paint a far more complicated picture than Toyota's legendary reputation suggests. This is a story of how Toyota's push for efficiency, emissions compliance, and rapid innovation may have unintentionally created a cycle of repeated failures even after recalls and full engine replacements. Toyota has never admitted to a single catastrophic engine defect. But when you examine recall patterns across multiple engine families, familiar problems keep excessive oil consumption. One of the most common complaints involves engines burning oil at alarming rates. Some owners report adding oil every 1,000 miles or even less. Experts point to several contributing factors: low-tension piston rings designed for fuel economy, ultra-thin oil viscosities required for emissions targets, tight tolerances that degrade under heat and age. A former Japanese OEM engineer explains, modern engines are built to meet emissions first, efficiency second, and longevity third. That's a reversal of priorities compared to older Toyota engines. Even when recalled engines receive updated piston rings, the underlying design often remains unchanged. Bearing embodiment wear: some newer Toyota engines have shown early signs of crankshaft bearing wear, especially under high loads or sustained highway driving. Why does this matter? Bearings depend on consistent oil pressure. Thin oil combined with heat reduces protection. Turbocharging adds even more stress, something older Toyota engines were rarely designed around. A recall may replace worn components, but if oil flow pathways or cooling capacity aren't redesigned, the same wear patterns can return. Carbon buildup in direct injection engines: Toyota was late to adopt direct injection, but when it did, it encountered the same issues other manufacturers already knew. Well, carbon buildup on intake valves leads to rough idle, power loss, misfires, and long-term engine damage. Some recall fixes involve software updates or revised PCV systems, but many technicians argue the real solution: injection systems or redesigned intake paths is rarely applied retroactively. From the outside, a recall looks decisive. Inside the industry, it's often a compromise. Cost pressure: redesigning an engine from scratch is enormously expensive. Manufacturers prefer to modify existing tooling, reuse castings, and adjust software instead of hardware. A former powertrain development consultant explains, if a full redesign costs billions and a partial fix costs millions. Companies almost always choose the partial fix, especially if failure rates don't trigger lawsuits. As a result, some recalls are engineered to satisfy regulators, not to guarantee long-term durability. Test your cycles fixes: real-world driving. Many recall fixes are validated under controlled lab conditions, not real-world use. Engines pass emissions tests. They survive warranty periods. Then they struggle after 80,000 or 120,000 miles. That's when failures appear just outside coverage, fueling frustration and distrust. Older Toyota engines were famous for being overbuilt. Conservative tuning, lower stress per cylinder components designed with massive safety margins. Today's engines prioritize fuel economy, lower emissions, and lightweight construction. A retired Toyota engineer summed it up bluntly: we used to design engines to last forever. Now we design them to meet regulations first. Longevity became secondary. That shift explains why a new engine can still feel like the same problem in disguise. Across forums, dealerships, and independent shops, owners describe the same pattern: engine replaced under recall. Temporary improvements, same symptoms return. Dealer calls it normal behavior. One owner put it perfectly: Toyota fixed it just enough to get me past the recall window. After that, I was on my own. Not every recalled engine fails again, but the pattern is common enough that independent mechanics now warn customers to stay vigilant, even after recall work is completed. Despite the frustration, experts agree owners can reduce risk. Shorten oil change intervals, ignore the 10,000-mile marketing. Most modern Toyota engines are far safer at 5,000 miles with high-quality synthetic oil and OEM or premium filters. Monitor oil levels, obsessively check every 1,000 miles, document consumption, report abnormal loss, immediately paper trails matter, avoid excessive heat and load. Prolonged high-speed driving, towing, aggressive acceleration, and extended idling all accelerate wear. Let engines warm up and cool down properly. Don't assume a recall means the problem is gone. A recall is a repair, not a guarantee. The honest answer? Toyota hasn't suddenly become unreliable across the board. Many models still perform well, and many recalled engines never fail again. But the idea that every Toyota engine is automatically bulletproof is no longer true. The recall nightmare isn't about one bad engine. It's about a system where engines are pushed harder than ever, margins for error are smaller. Fixes are incremental instead of fundamental. That reality applies to nearly every modern automaker boot. Toyota's legendary reputation makes the disappointment hit harder. Industry experts agree Toyota can rebuild trust, but only if it fully redesigns affected engine families, prioritizes durability over marginal efficiency, gains, communicates transparently with owners. As one senior automotive analyst warned, Toyota's strength has always been trust. If owners feel recalls are just band-aids, that trust erodes fast. The Toyota recall nightmare isn't the collapse of a legendary brand, but it is a warning sign. A new engine doesn't mean a new beginning. If the same engineering compromises remain, owners deserve fixes that solve problems permanently, not temporarily. For now, the smartest Toyota owners are doing what Toyota fans have always done: paying close attention, maintaining proactively, and demanding accountability. Because true reliability isn't about fixing failures, it's about making sure they never happen again.